I don't know why. I kind of approach. I'm sorry. I mean, go ahead, Chris.
No. Say, welcome back to White Noise. Hopefully, by the next time we have a new White Noise, there'll be an intro to go along with the White Noise logo I made a while back. But for right now, we're using the StreamYard version of what is intro music. But
we'll see. We'll see what happens at some point. I don't know.
This is White Noise, episode 4. Of course, I am your host, Drip, aka the J White Boy or BRP, the sensitive lover boy, the future predictions champion. And as always, I am joined by producer Cal, the founder of Black Wrestling, the former BRP predictions champion, the king of chaos, and the host of the Black Wrestling Podcast Club. And there it is, White Noise.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for a future White Noise. I don't want to say next White Noise, but in the future. This is kind of impromptu.
Well, because I missed this week's episode of Black Wrestling due to force majeure, I'd say.
Jesus, I didn't realize it got that deep out there, yo.
That was the thing. So we had real quick to explain why I wasn't there.
Go in.
So earlier in the day at work, we had to huddle into our bathrooms because we had already had a thunderstorm warning at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hear it outside. It was just like the rain was just hitting the building on top all over, and like thunder, lightning, all of it. And there were apparently tornado warnings coming up. So it was like, sheesh.
Right.
Leaving work, it looked perfect, like how it does right now. And then right as we were recording STP and Takeover, you were having their back and forth, and my lights flicker on and off, like, you know, Sabu is about to show up or whatever.
Let me just say, I don't want. Oh God.
And then the lights turn off completely. I see you guys on the screen. I'm like, well, I'm not going to have power to get back in. I'll be able to watch until the power stops because no Wi-Fi, no power. So I'm like, you know what? Oh God, I'm gonna miss this week's episode. And the one thing I wanted to talk about this week was Ricky Starks. As you saw in the beginning of the intro, we'll be talking about Ricky Starks and the TNT title as a whole, and why Ricky Starks should be the new face of TNT. But what were you gonna say, Cal?
Oh, I didn't want to go too crazy, but I mean a little like BRP behind the scenes, like I shouts to Mimi.
Yeah.
Shouts to Duke. Duke loves wrestling. Got an opportunity to get Jay Bougie and the Takeover people and Shane Taylor Promotions. Like the entire Shane Taylor Promotions was on the cold open of the show. But that's all I knew, and all I saw was they're gonna have a confrontation on the pod. Okay, what does that mean? Who knows? I don't know what that means. It's just a thing that's going to happen. So we're at it's like I told people 10 minutes before we go live, like just come through so I could figure we could get everybody, you know, make sure they're all the mics are set, if there's issues, anything like that. Everybody kind of comes in around 8:30. And we're already in backstage, just talking because we're talking before the show started. But we're realizing as people are coming in, some people have to leave. So I was kind of I want everybody was in, I think, except for Bougie. And I was kind of like, Drip, you're gonna have to go. Drip, you're gonna have to go. I thought you just clicked it off. I didn't realize that. I guess.
No, I had left the studio at that point.
You did leave the studio.
I saw, I think, the first 2 minutes of you starting the show, and then the lights flickered, and they came back on. I'm like, oh, I guess we got it. And then they just turned off completely, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm trying to message you guys. I have no signal to even send something or tweet something like, hey, I can't make the show until further notice. And then I was able to text Fam and say, Fam's like, hop back in. I'm like, I can't. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, thunderstorm knocked out my power. He's like, well, get it when you get a chance. And because you had sent me some AEW pay-per-views a while back for some project I want to work on for a future White Noise, I still kind of need the rest of them, but we'll figure that out later.
Let me know which ones you have. I need to figure out the next round. But
But I just put on one, and you know what? I'm gonna watch this and then go to sleep because I know the power's not gonna come back on for me to be in the episode. And at like 10:35, I'd already kind of like KO'd around 9:20ish. 10:35, I wake up because the lights turn back on. I go turn them off, go right back to bed, and in the morning I'm like, hey, so the power like not. I couldn't get back on at all last night. Like I think you guys have probably been. I think you guys had ended maybe 20 minutes prior. Because it was only a 2-hour episode. Yeah,
it was, and you figure like it was 2 hours. It was about 30-ish minutes with Takeover. I still got to get that up. That'll be up sometime before the next episode. But then we did. I mean, it wasn't much. After Backlash talk and Roman Reigns, like it was kind of just like a free for all. I got to go back and actually listen through because there was some funny stuff, but I do not remember.
No, I was a fan with the Silver Teeth kids. See, my mom, she says I can do whatever I want.
That was very funny. No, that was extremely funny.
But the one thing you guys talked about, and I wanted to talk about this week was Ricky Starks because he had another FTW title defense against Jungle Boy in a good match. Again, Ricky Starks showed he can do the same shit Jungle Boy can do, which is what y'all had said. It's kind of known as well.
But like I didn't.
But he's not flashy. I mean, he's flashy with it, but it's not the only thing he can do.
I've seen a lot of Ricky in AEW. I hadn't seen. I don't know what he did a lot in WCW, in NWA. Math always used to talk about Ricky Starks when he was in NWA. So when he did, because I always seen Jungle Boy doing the bouncing off the ropes and doing the backflip and getting out of the different arm bar technique. And when Ricky did it, like move for move, I said, "Oh, okay, he's got it." Like every time I see Ricky, it feels like. There's a different side to him that I learn and appreciate, how like well-rounded he is in terms of a professional wrestler.
Because he's already probably one of their most complete characters in terms of like on the mic, in the ring. I mean, his gimmick is that, again, he is flash, he is charisma, style, all of it. And then in the ring, he is willing to back it up. He can be power, he can be speed, quickness, technical style a little bit. It's like he can do it all.
Word.
And I think the thing, like you said, was that Math saw this from the get-go in NWA Power. I didn't see it until shortly after he joined AEW. He had the TNT title challenge against Cody. Then he kind of had a string of matches since then. Then him and Taz linked up with Brian Cage, and then Powerhouse Hobbs joins and Hook as well. He's kind of taken over as Team Taz as the face.
He is Team Taz. Like, he's literally he is Team Taz. I mean, he's had the title for a minute, right?
Well, I was about to say, so like,
I'm sorry.
I was going to list off some of the matches he's had as FTW champion. So he beat Brian Cage to win the title. He then retained it in the Philly street fight, which he had the famous like Brian Cage like, when are we gonna have the street fight? And then Ricky Starks said, "In Philly, you dumb bitch," or whatever he said. Like, he then defeated Sonny Kiss on the Jericho Cruise. He defeated Chuck Taylor on the Jericho Cruise. Those are both FTW title matches. He defeated Matt Sydal at Battle of the Belts, the first Battle of the Belts. Him and Jay Lethal had a good match on Rampage. That's when he caught Jay Lethal mid lethal injection and hit him with the rope.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that clip is hard. That clip is hard.
Yeah. He defended against Swerve successfully on another edition of Rampage, and what's probably going to be on my best of the year at the end of the year, because it was a great TV match. Again, this match, the BRP match of the week is what that was. Swerve versus Absolute.
Yeah, they ran that back as well, right? It was like
because then they did they did the good tag match in New Orleans when he was.
Oh, that's what it was.
Legend.
Because it was that match, but it was like a week later, right? They had
a few weeks later. They had Keith Lee and Hobbs had a match against each other in terms of building up this ongoing storyline, and then his last defense was Jungle Boy this week on Rampage, and like all these matches again, they're low key bangers.
Right.
Which is kind of what the TNT title is supposed to be. And right now, the TNT title, if you want to put up the images of the first one, with Cody, Brody. No, we'll get to that. That's right. With Cody, Brody Lee, Miro, and Darby. So these are the first 5 TNT champs.
Right.
Cody, Brody Lee, Cody again. Cody drops it to Darby Allin, and then Miro. And within these are some good open challenges. Darby Allin, I think I have it right here, a string of good TNT title defense. No, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Darby Allin fan, but he defeated Cody. He defeated Brian Cage, Joey Janela, Scorpio Sky. That's when Scorpio Sky had won the first brass ring, the Sonic ring. John Silver, JD Drake, Matt Hardy in kind of a garbage match that had some good spots. Another Darby Allin Jungle Boy, 2 pillars of AEW facing off again, similar to Ricky Starks this week. Him and 10 of the Dark Order, and then he lost it to Miro. And then Miro had the opposite version of that where he just ran through guys as TNT champ. It was just kick, slam, put him in the camel clutch over. But like multiple title defenses. Him and Eddie Kingston had a good feud within it as well.
Right.
He then drops it to Sammy Guevara, and then if you want to put the other TNT title image, this is what it's looked like since, and it's kind of like a clusterfuck.
It's a lot of Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky.
Well, it's real chaos.
Fact. That's your man Cody's fault, though, right? It's Cody's fault.
Well, all right. Well, it's Sammy Guevara's fault from the beginning as well because Sammy Guevara did he proposed to Pam to gain babyface sympathy, and that didn't work.
You're right.
Because they were trying to break off Sammy Guevara from the inner circle. It's like, out of all the guys in the inner circle, he was the one who's like the truest heel. Besides Jake Hager, it was Sammy Guevara. Like, we all like Santana and Ortiz. We didn't want to boo them, but we booed the inner circle.
Facts.
I think they had Cody win because of I think it was not just the best Cody Rhodes, but he had to be the first 3-time TNT champ. And then he probably knows he's leaving, but he wants to have this notch on his belt before he leaves. He does the whole thing where he can't defend it. So Sammy Guevara wins the interim title. Then they have to have the ladder match, which is only memorable for the cutter that Sammy Guevara hits. Otherwise, what else happened in that match?
It was a good goddamn cutter, though.
Yeah. And then they do this thing where, again, Scorpio Sky has been secretly having this winning streak the entire time. And, no one's talking about it. No one cares. It's like the reverse Goldberg, the reverse Asuka. You won all these matches and, ain't no one talking about it.
It's so prolific that nobody mentions it whatsoever.
But he lost tag team matches. He didn't get pinned, I think, in these matches. But, he was undefeated as a singles wrestler. But it's no one cares. You're doing this on darker, as Matt would say.
Hold on one sec, Trip. I'm here, but I'm not here. Hold on one sec. Keep going.
That's okay. So then Scorpio Sky defeats Sammy Guevara and just a way to get the belt off Sammy Guevara, who's become the ultimate heat magnet in wrestling. And so Scorpio Sky has his baggage as well. I'm not defending Scorpio Sky or trying to say he deserved it, but this was also, I think, Tony Khan doing the Tony Khan thing of all the diversity talk in AEW. I got to counteract that because February happened. We didn't do nothing in February because I think the first.
They dropped the mixtape.
Oh,
they did. They dropped the mixtape.
They did, yeah. Oh God. But Scorpio Sky wins, and then he drops it in his very first defense right back to Sammy Guevara, who's now made. They try to do the Stone Cold Brett WrestleMania 13 double turn,
right?
And then Sammy Guevara loses it again in another ladder match, which was again known because Sammy Guevara he hit that crazy, I think 630 Phoenix Splash and almost killed himself.
Is that the one where he was yeah, I'm fucking crazy?
Yeah. And then right after he didn't connect with Scorpio Sky at all, and it was just are you it was when Mike Epps jumps and holds out the measurements right into the car, I'm gonna end up like Christopher Reeve.
That's good. A+ reference. If Fan was here, I think he'd appreciate that.
I was Darby Allin this week on AEW too when Jeff Hardy was nope.
That shit was what a goof. Yeah, you didn't get to talk.
And then now, so Scorpio Sky is now the current TNT champion, and it's just flip flopping back and forth between these two guys, and they're prolonging it. If you watch Rampage last night,
I didn't catch Rampage.
He defeated Frankie Kazarian, and then he made it seem like he was going to shake, him and Frankie Kazarian were good. Ethan Page what are you doing? And then Scorpio Sky hits him with the belt, and it was it was a ruse all along. It's not even Vince Russo did the 180 that quickly.
Wait, he hit who with the belt? Ethan Page?
No, Scorpio Sky hit Frankie Kazarian with the belt.
Oh, so now is the feud going to be?
He's still a heel. Scorpio Sky is still a heel, and then Sammy Guevara came in to be hey, what do you do? So it's it's so convoluted and
wait. So everybody's a heel,
Yeah.
Frankie Kazarian is a heel.
No. He's a face.
So he's like an old, like rugged, haggard baby face.
He's basically kind of like what Christian was until they were teasing this heel turn that he's going to do with Jungle Boy. It's the I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm still doing it.
Because I saw I didn't watch Rampage this week, but I watched Rampage last Saturday, and I saw the promo. I mean, Scorpio Sky didn't seem like he was cutting a babyface promo, but whatever. It wasn't like he wasn't talking.
They had ties together, being SCU, the first AW tag champs. It was the mutual respect. Came up together.
It was serious, but he's been a heel. He's been a heel the whole time. Sammy Guevara.
Dan Lambert,
exactly.
That's why him and Sammy, they tried to do that forced double turn because Sammy was just being booed because he's, again, like I said, automatic heat magnet at this point.
But Sammy was a babyface until, like you said, he turned heel, and now him and Ty Conti are together. All that whole fucking situation.
Even him as a babyface, so he wasn't really a babyface because no one
right. It was. But
he was fighting for Fuego del Sol, like, all right, because Miro was basically bullying him.
But I guess my question, so you have Sammy as a baby, you have Sammy as a heel who does one thing, Scorpio as a heel who does something else. Why wouldn't they have switched it up, that maybe have Sammy fighting one of the litany of baby faces who may be ready, or at the very least may get help by being put on TV, as opposed to fighting the other heel just so we can keep do they want because for the most part these TNT champions, aside from Miro, aside from Darby Allin, they've mostly been heelish. Was how much of a baby face was Cody Rhodes during his run?
Cody Rhodes was supposed to be. I mean, well, he wasn't, because don't forget he was beating all the black wrestlers during.
I was going to say, because he didn't look like a baby face for me.
No, that's Cody Luther King. If you hear everyone on Twitter, I mean, they ain't gonna recognize that. I point out every time. It's just, oh, you're a hater, but this is not man. Did he not beat Mark Quinn? Did he not beat Sonny Kiss? Did he not beat Ricky Starks?
Sammy was a babyface for the beginning of his TNT.
He was, because someone had to be a babyface to beat Miro, even though everyone loved what Miro was doing, because everyone likes Miro.
So now it's Frankie Kazarian, like mostly kind of babyface. Scorpio Sky, full heel. Sammy Guevara, low key X-Pac heat heel. What are we?
They need to get this title on Ricky Starks as soon as possible, because he can carry any feud on the mic, and he can hang with anyone in the ring.
You see, he's right there with the mic in his hand too. Just give it to him.
And the FTW title is basically just a waste of time with him. Like, again, it's a belt they don't even recognize, but they're willing to put it on TV for title defenses.
That match with Jungle Boy, that was an FTW championship match.
It was, yeah.
What was
the match with Swerve? And that's one of the best matches AEW's had on TV this year, is him and Swerve.
Why would what's his face even have wanted the FTW title? What was he going to do?
Take something away from the heel to shut him up, because that's what it basically was. That Ricky Starks and Hobbs, who might be the next tag team champions if they keep playing up this Jungle Boy's losing his edge or something, and Christian betrays them after they drop the titles, which Starks and Hobbs as a team, as tag champs, and again, they'll be the first black tag champs in AEW, which, and Tony Khan can check that off and be like, here, leave me alone. Because again, the reason we have that clusterfuck of Sammy, Cody, Sammy, Scorpio was because that's the one-man booking machine, Tony Khan, with all this ROH stuff going on at the same time. But easily, I think Ricky Starks can take the title off Scorpio Sky while being this tweener. He can be like, now I can have a title that is actually worthy of something. He's already basically the face of Rampage, the show that's on TNT at this point.
Facts.
Big dark show, whether he's on commentary or having the matches himself.
Because I don't normally watch Rampage. Actually, I need to watch this week's Rampage, because I forgot that it was airing at fucking like 5:30 or whatever time it had
super
to air.
early because of basketball. or hockey. It was one of the two.
I knew that was his show, so that's one of the reasons I check in, because I want to watch the black people on TV. But when I tuned in recently and saw him sitting with the headphones on at the I was like, oh shit, Ricky Starks just, and it's regular. He's just be on the comp. Man, look, the thing is, do you think Ricky Starks is in, like, because AEW is all right? Let's ask a dumb question. Because AEW is so young, we don't really have this question. But like, do you think Ricky Starks is an AEW lifer? Like, do you think he's somebody who, given the foresight that AEW is going to be he's how old?
I think he's early 30s or
32.
Yeah.
So 15 years.
NXT's not looking for guys his age. That's why they cut Kyle. Not cut. That's why Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano and all Swerve and whoever they got released. Because guys that are back in the chance to go to AEW is because they're not looking for 30-year-old indie guys who are under 5'11".
He's how tall?
I think he's about 5'11", 6-footish.
He's billed as 6 foot.
Yeah. I mean, he walked by us in person in Dallas, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's Ricky Starks." It was kind of surreal, like.
And you were like, "Yo, he's tall as fuck."
Well, I want to be like, "Hey, it's Ricky Starks."
It's Ricky fucking Starks. Just to put in perspective, Austin Theory is billed at 6'1". So, yeah. And he's
like 25,
24. He'll be 25 this summer. Do you think, like, if Ricky Starks was going to go to the WWE, he needs to go like right now?
Yeah, and what could work is that he's close to Cody. That could help if Cody were to start a Nightmare family over there.
Trip. He's close with a couple. He's close with a couple of people in the WWE. He's close with somebody in the WWE that many of us are fond of. Who, I'm not gonna. Yeah, you lucky I ain't got the shit around me. But I forgot.
But they would probably make him a manager or something like what they.
Fact. But he'd be like gosh, what was the name of that black guy who
Abraham Washington?
They would probably make him an Abraham Washington type cat, which it's something like he could, if he went to the WWE and was able to work himself into like a baby MVP type gimmick.
Malcolm Bivens, and he got out of there.
Yeah, but I think Ricky's got a little bit of different the thing is like Ricky is a very good performer in ring, but they would want him to be the talker. They would want him to do what they had Leo Rush doing, I imagine, and not really care about what he could do in ring, which is sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's the thing. But I'm saying at this point, you could probably do Team Taz versus this somewhat American Top Team Men of the Year feud going on, where like Team Taz can sort of play the babyface role because they're only really heel to like the guys they don't like. They're not just heels to everyone. Like they had the problem with Sting and Darby Allin. They had the problem with Brian Cage. They just betray Brian Cage because like everyone was sick of Brian Cage.
They betrayed Brian Cage because nobody knew Brian Cage's contract was gonna expire or whatnot that summer.
And then now with Swerve and Keith Lee, it was you new guys keep coming in while us guys who have been here for a while. That was you can respect, like, it's the thing with the Hurt Business. Like, are the Hurt Business heels, or are they just heels to the guys that they're fighting?
Wait,
Drip, they were going around attacking everyone.
Drip, I'm sorry. Sidebar. Necessary. Because a sidebar which actually goes back to a question I wanted to ask you earlier. Because you're not watching WWE, right?
I watched a little bit this week. I was trying to go into Payback. I mean, WrestleMania Backlash, hoping maybe I would turn the tides in the predictions title. It didn't work. So I watched a little bit this week.
You saw Cedric?
I fast forward to that segment because I'm like, this MVP almost Bobby Lashley thing is going on a little bit too long now.
Sometimes during Raw,
I know he came out to be like, I'm still trying to get the Hurt Business together, right?
Sometimes, like I like Raw is a show that I faithfully watch. Like it'll be on my TV when it's on, regularly, as opposed to like watching a DVR. It's what I do Monday nights. So I like, but sometimes like I'll forget, And so like Tuesday mornings, I'll throw it on, and I'm like, damn, Cedric Alexander was really out. Like he's still like low key wearing the Hurt Business pants, but he's the only one doing it. Shelton's still around.
Yeah, because remember they brought them back that 1 week versus the Bloodline and versus the New Day,
and then
Bobby Lashley kicked their ass the week after, be like, I didn't need y'all at all. And it was like,
and then they get beat. It's weird. That's what I would, because the thing is Ricky Starks, he would be very good at getting his ass kicked in those types of scenarios, and I need to see Ricky Starks in this fucking collection of people. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
what I'm saying. So he shows up. All right, let's say him and Hobbs won all the gold. Like they beat Jurassic Express for the tag titles.
I've done that before.
Well, because it's just like Fam was speaking the truth. Like Jungle Boy, it's a dumb name.
It's fucking ridiculous, man.
The look. I get he's Tarzan, but it doesn't help when JR's like Jack Perry.
They did it because it kind of made sense that the Tarzanish guy would be with the fucking
that was his gimmick from the start. He was Jungle Boy from the start, but like.
Yeah, but
that his name was also Jack Perry. He's not a kid who was raised like Tarzan.
Right. Like Luke Perry's cheering on this fucking Tarzan Jr. ass kid. But again, I don't even think Tarzan was around with dinosaurs.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like the world was a little more civilized, so it doesn't even make sense. Like if Tarzan grew up in Jurassic Park, Jurassic Express would make sense.
Well, don't forget, this is a man wearing a dinosaur mask and says "my people" when he's talking about dinosaurs. So the whole thing is, and then they have Christian Cage managing them, which is just like
he's the one giving Luchasaurus the fucking dinosaur pill to make him go to sleep at night. The drip. Don't forget, this is also the booking of a. I guess I know why. Never mind. I was gonna say something crazy.
Well, no, someone like Keith is right when she's like, look at who they pair the vets with in terms of the young guys. Like,
right.
As much as Daniel Garcia doesn't fit in the Jericho Appreciation Society, they want Chris Jericho giving that shine on Daniel Garcia. And it's stupid because, like,
I don't like it.
He is the most technical wrestler, like, in the company, and like him being the sports entertainer in the group, like, it doesn't work.
Drip. He don't need to be having that backwards Kango on with that tight ass white tank top.
Well, he's also the PWG world champion, so he's going to go back to the Indies and then do work rate matches. So, and then come back.
So when Daniel Garcia is in PWG, what's his style? Is he just the fucking wrestling trunks in the title?
That's what he was before he joined the group. I'm doing holds. Fucking
I like that.
And, yeah,
he got his ass kicked by Bryan Danielson that one. Like it was like around the time.
By everyone, Moxley, Danielson, a lot of guys, CM Punk, a lot of guys were kicking his ass. That's why it was like him joining Jericho. He needs someone to mentor him, just like Wheeler Yuta was getting his ass kicked with the best friends, and then Danielson and Moxley like join, and then William Regal's like, "Join us, lad. Come on."
Keith sent me.
Come on, son.
Keith sent me a
photo. Well, they paired someone like Wheeler Yuta who was like the forgotten one of the best friends because he doesn't have the chemistry that Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta already have, and Orange Cassidy stands out, and then Chris Statlander is still kind of with them,
right?
But
I don't understand
just the guy that Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy trained.
I don't understand the best friend. Wheeler Yuta was with them initially, like in terms of like training with them and stuff, but like because this is a different person.
Yeah, this is the guy who is gonna. Wrestle.
That's baby Bryan Danielson right there. Like he looks like he's the face of somebody's company right there. Even if, like I asked Keeks a while ago, I was like, because one thing I've noticed with Wheeler Yuta is it's not just that he won the title, blah 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 blah, or he's I'm not won the title. He's part of
he won the ROH Pure title, which might be a big deal when ROH gets back on TV.
But I meant to say he because he's gone from, like you said, a best friend to now like the star.
Bag
he's the star of the Blackpool Combat Club, and when I'm not saying I haven't seen. I tracked it. I tracked him going from the guy they were beating the shit out of him, and him like standing up, be like, "Hit me some more." To now, when he had the trunks with the blood on it, it's like, yo, they really just made a fucking dude right there. But my question to Keeks
the first match with him and Mox, again, we're going on top of it, like Mox like beats his ass 2 minutes, DD paradigm shift, it's over. Then the second time they have a match when I think Mox had just come back, and it was like Mox kind of has to get back in the swing of things. And Wheeler Yuta was showing that he has some fight now. Then the third one was the match that like got him in the club because he was kicking out of everything. It was the "Will you die already?" Yeah,
he rubbed the blood on his chest and shit. That was the star making moment. That match,
and that's what got him in right after
because that was a star making moment.
His ass kicked by Bryan Danielson I think the same week or the week before, and it was this time it was
But I guess and we'll get back to Ricky. And I think the parallel is because I asked Keeks, I was like, Keeks,
he's a potential lifer as well if they're building him up like this. Again, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, MJF.
I'll get to my question. I'll get to my question in a second. But the thing is, with that, why I ask about Ricky Starks being a lifer, right? Because I can see Ricky easily being in the main event mix. Again, last episode of White Noise, we talked about Adam Cole already being in and out of the main event scene. He already had his matches. He was cycled out for a bit. I could see Ricky Starks. They're about the same. They're like the same size. They're both, they do their thing. I could see Ricky can talk. Once Tony Khan and them can believe in Ricky Starks being a world champion for their company, which is not something I think that Vince and company can see for Ricky right now, just because of his size. They wouldn't put. I think Vince fucks with Austin Theory. I don't think Austin Theory is going to be seriously competing against Roman Reigns for the fucking title. You saw WrestleMania.
We'll see. Hey,
but
25. The reason I think they're still behind the Young Guys is Vince can see Austin Theory doing that 2 years from now.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Taken more seriously than The Miz, where The Miz is right now?
Yeah, because The Miz has already passed that point. The Miz now is just like Randy Orton right now. He's doing whatever Vince wants, and like they might have these options outside, but not really. Like Miz and Mrs. and Dancing with the Stars, like Randy Orton tried to be an actor, but it was like you're Randy Orton, like come on.
Well, again, this is the thing. We're gonna tie it off because I think with Theory he would need some. I don't want to say a rebrand, but some type of like shift in personality to where he's not the funny guy taking selfies. He's a serious competitor. Because I asked Keeks, I was like, Keeks, what are they doing with Wheeler Yuta? Like what you because they made him a star. Where does that go? And she was like, he's probably gonna be running ROH. He's ROH pure champion, like you said. And when I saw this looks like a guy who could be seen as like a serious competitor in ROH. He's a little small, but from what we've seen
of the Super Juniors, he's currently in Japan competing in that tournament. That's what that picture is from. And that's a division, and that's a tournament of small guys.
But what I'm saying is I don't know who's all in Super Juniors. I know that for the last 2 months, I've seen Wheeler Yuta get his ass kicked and kicking ass alongside Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. So regardless of anything, he looks like $1 million because he looks like, and again, we've seen him bleed, and again, some fucking a Braveheart, marking his chest type shit, with the blood. Like it's like he really feels like a warrior. And I wish, like I said, that they would take a Ricky Starks and apply that type of pressure in terms of him actually really feeling like something serious.
Put the Darby Allin image back up. That's kind of what they were doing when he was TNT champ. Like he had been this guy that would like crash test them. He would give it his all against all these people. He had a few title matches against Moxley and Jericho. Again, he's the underdog in the fight, but he's going to hit you with everything. And his title run was, I'm going to retain this title by any means necessary. A lot of like pretty predicaments to win, using his momentum, because again, he's not the biggest guy, he's not the strongest guy,
right?
But he's going to use his wit and his devil may cry, devil may fear, whatever you say, attitude to win in the end.
I remember the vignettes where they were like, it was all dark and grainy, and it was like, I grew up rough, and here's the car, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna throw your carcass through the car. Like all that shit. It felt like a dark ass, depressing ass life and movie that he was just gonna turn into beating the shit out of somebody for 20 minutes or whatever the situation was in the ring.
Ricky Starks were kind of linked up from the start. Ricky Starks did the impersonation of him. and they had the feud with Team Taz against, like I said, Sting and Darby Allin. But like, if they win the tag titles, let's say a month from now, Scorpio Sky probably beats one or two more people. Ricky Starks. This is me going to do drip fantasy book and book in the damn territory. Feel like he goes up, he says, "I want another title." Again, I'm the absolute. I'm the real face of TNT because I'm on Rampage every single week on commentary in the ring. I'm the tag champ. I want another piece of gold. I like all gold, everything. He would probably say something like that, like he did the Swisher House. Like I'm like again the neighborhood legend. Like he ain't stopping.
Wait, Trip, what'd he say? He said what?
That's right. I'm a neighborhood legend.
I'm sorry.
I'm a neighborhood legend.
What'd he say?
That's right. I'm a neighborhood legend.
Legend.
So like he could. I think we would all cheer for him against Sky. Powerhouse Hobbs could negate Ethan Page. Taz could take out Dan Lambert. They can hoist Ricky Starks on their shoulders. Hook is teaming with Danhausen. We can get that a little bit later, but like Ricky Starks can have these 3 titles because when someone always has 3 titles or more in wrestling, it's the coolest thing ever. Bobby Lashley, I mean, everyone. Ultimo Dragon when he literally has like, look at all these titles. Like I here. I think I said that in before. Just Liger had the women carry his titles out to the ring when he had like all the J Crown titles.
I would love it. That's the thing where like, and I'm not saying like I'm a Kenny Omega fan. Shouts out to anybody that's a Kenny Omega fan.
But the aesthetic of that,
Justin,
it's worth something.
Like being able to be like, yo, I'm the champion. I'm rolling into your fed, and I'm gonna take your title. It's ill. I would love if Roman Reigns, because watching
he's doing it right now.
He's like, yo, I'm gonna have 2 titles on my shoulders, and my cousin's gonna have 2 titles on their shoulders. But I want to see Roman Reigns try and punk someone, be like, yo, give me your Intercontinental title.
Well, he would be like, I don't even need it at this point. What's that? It's like a pinky ring to my Super Bowl ring. He'd probably.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even want give me your title. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't want to give it to me? We're gonna have a match right now, and I'm gonna take it from you. I want that.
And then with Ricky Starks, he could do the thing where, like, again, he takes on all challengers. And I have a list of like the TNT title contenders right here that I made up of.
Oh.
Just in alphabetical order, but Adam Cole, obviously, like I said, I think at some point he will be TNT champ at the end of the year. Andrade El Idolo, someone they're doing kind of nothing with.
Andrade and Ricky Starks in the ring. Champs. Andrade and Ricky Starks in the ring would be crazy.
Bryan Danielson, of course. I mean, and that's, of course, like, how is Ricky Starks going to escape the stomp, the strikes, the suplexes, the kicks? Ricky Starks, he'll pull it out in the end somehow.
All facts.
With the belt shot and then Rochambeau spear, all of it. Like, you know, Buddy Matthews, again, he killed it as Cruiserweight champ in 205 Live. Daniel Garcia, when he breaks off, or if they have a Jericho Appreciation Society versus Team Taz. And this could be Ricky Starks Team Taz, or Ricky Starks like, I'm surpassed you at this point. The Rock breaking away from the Nation.
Right.
Like, I'm better than all y'all. Like, maybe they dropped the tag titles. You realize, like, I'm the one that's been carrying this team for a while. Maybe that's when Hook takes center stage of Team Taz.
Right.
And takes the FTW title off Ricky Starks, but TNT, but he still has the TNT title. Maybe they settle it that way.
Maybe.
So Starks can take a loss. But I mean, there's Dante Martin, who they already have history with him turning his back on Team Taz. I said Hook, Keith Lee against someone they're already feuding with, Kyle O'Reilly, him and Ricky Starks going to get match for match. Lee Moriarty, Malachi Black against someone who's just kind of meandering right now. They have this whole Death Triangle feud, House of Black feud.
Right.
These are guys who kind of came over to AEW to be champions because they weren't given the shot over there. MJF, I mean, pillar versus pillar. Ricky Starks, MJF on the mic, in the ring. MJF can go when I think he has the right person. Him and Darby Allin, that Full Gear last year, was a great match. I think that was MJF's best match.
True.
Him and Moxley, again, can he just survive Mox's violence? Can he outlast, like, Mox just forearm until he just...
He probably could, but he would... the thing with Starks is he would... I don't want to say he would oversell, but he
did this a little bit this week. That's what was good. Like, Jungle Boy rolled out, and he was like, what the hell? And then, like, he got hit. And then, like, when he had him in this show, he's like, ah!
Right.
It's not over the top because it's like, that's kind of what wrestling should be at times.
He's a very good pro wrestler.
He plays it up well.
He's animated. He's very animated. Again, and that's what plays into his charisma. Again,
everyone's not like that. The one guy who is stands out.
Facts.
And it works for them. Because if it's all animated, then it's a circus, it's the cartoon, it's the clown show. But if he's the guy doing it, it's like, it really hurts him.
Over there in AEW, him being that good of like an animated pro wrestler stands out compared to what everybody else over there is doing. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't rewatch it, but I wanted to. But yeah, him and Jungle, like I said, there were a few spots in the match where he was doing like kind of the talking in the ring. We're like,
I need to go back.
Kind of does what the yep. Ooh, no.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to go back and rewatch. I want to rewatch it at some point.
I mean, him and Orange Cassidy again. Him versus what are you gonna try? The guy who never tries. You think you can take the title off of me? Like
you wouldn't be.
They can have a good comedy versus comedy, and then turn it up because Orange Cassidy can turn it up.
He's a good pro wrestler
when it's time to.
He's a good pro wrestler.
Santana and Ortiz, because I mean those guys can be single stars as well as a tag team. He can run through all three of Death Triangle, Penta, Pac, and Phoenix, and do a whole like run through every single one of them. Like I beat you, now I just gotta beat you.
Penta might fuck him up.
And that's the one for last. It's like Phoenix, how am I gonna fight the guy that can go all over? Pac is the guy Pac's just gonna be the guy who's gonna brutalize him. And then Penta's the one's like, when I grab your arm, and again, maybe they do think he breaks his arm 1 week and Ricky Starks has to wrestle with one arm. What I'm saying is you got to see this probably happen. RVD 700 day title run as ECW World Title Champ. I didn't get to see it, but I've heard about like it was all about him being ECW World Television Champ to then go on and be ECW World Champ.
Yeah,
he wrestled everyone in ECW. Balls Mahoney, Sabu. I mean, Jerry Lynn multiple times. And
it was a phenomenon. He was a phenom at the time.
That title mattered a little bit more because he was defending it on television at the pay-per-views. Challengers all over the place. And I kind of have this other one, like the Forbidden Door. Mm-hmm. What happens if Chris Bay comes over and they have a one-off match? What if Willie Mack, a free agent, decides to show up and challenge him? Leon Ruffin shows up and they just kind of, again, like Ricky Starks' open challenge, absolute open challenge. Who wants to take the champ to the limit? I mean,
Ricky Starks' neighborhood invitational. Why?
That's right. I'm a neighborhood legend.
You gotta do something.
They had kind of the working relationship with New Japan. Alex Coughlin, Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, Simbrivi pays attention to those guys. Those are young up and comers in New Japan, LA dojo system that were trained by Shibata, so they can go. Kaniska Takeshita, who was on Rampage last Friday against Jay Lethal, he was trained by Kenny Omega. That's the guy they brought over from DDT in Japan. He can go, and it's kind of making this run in the US right now. Alex Zane, Blake Christian, they were in WWE, mainly NXT 205 Live till they got released, but are back in GCW, ROH on the indie scene, killing it. I think he's the guy who can hold the title for a year and a half, take on all these names, take and retain as a face, a heel by the skin of his teeth, or just flat out like he was better than them, because he's shown it since the start of last year. He's shown it.
He's really been shining. He's low key been like, anytime he's on TV, he may be my Black Wrestler of the Week. It really just depends on.
For me, that's why like when I missed this week, I'm like, because I would have that match with him and Jungle Boy. You saw why this guy is the star. They're not hiding. I think that we always talk about AEW. They pick and choose what to focus on, and then a few weeks later they'll bring it back and kind of put it in the center frame. Like, here it is. And I mean, they can. I mean, if he decides to be TNT title, the TNT title holder, and Hangman Page is still champ at the time. You're the guy that almost ended my career.
Right.
Champ versus champ, title versus title. I mean,
the storyline's right there. It's just on.
Or even if Hangman Page loses the title and he decides to go for the TT title, and he's like, you're not going to take this title from me like you try to take my career. I mean, and who do we root for? Ricky Starks, who has something to fight for and be arrogant about. Like, look, I've had to sit months on the sideline and commentate and then come back and still only be 50%. Look at what I've done at 50%. I'm only 85% now. When I'm at 100%, no one's gonna touch me. Like, and you robbed me of 100%. Like,
I wonder what it would take for them to consider Ricky Starks a threat. Because we've been talking about it.
The trigger like they did with Jay Cargill. They were smart not to wait too long with Jay Cargill. After like, I think was it 10, 11 matches, they're like, all right, she has to be the first TBS.
It made sense.
Women's champion because
they were smart.
We can't wait a full year and do the Goldberg thing and then she's champ. Like, you can do both at the same time.
But I will say, I think it's easier for them, again, regardless of how much Ricky Starks is ready to be that guy on TV. It's probably easier for a dominant woman to come through, to rise through the AEW ranks than it is for a very, very impressive guy, because they've got dope guys a dime a dozen. They don't have a lot of Jade Cargills on their roster right now.
But think about it, like, so you just put the image of him in The Rock, the one that Nolan made.
Yes.
The Rock debuts at Survivor Series 96, 90, Survivor Series 98. He wins the vacant WWF title. And think about what happened in those 2 years.
Yeah.
Intercontinental champion, Rocky Die, the Nation, The Rock, and then the corporate champion.
Right.
And now, and what I'm saying is that there will become a certain point where, like, is Ricky Starks always going to stay here and never go here, like MJF? Because I think we're all seeing it with MJF. It's getting boring because it's recycle.
It's the same story.
He's putting Wardlow through what he put Cody through, what he kind of put Jericho through, and MJF has never won a title.
They said 10 lashes. Wardlow's going to do. He's going to do the slavery whipping shit that Cody did,
and have a cage match like Wardlow had against Cody, except this time it's Sean Spears, and it's like, and I wouldn't blame MJF if he left, because it's like, they haven't made me AW champ, they haven't made me TNT title. Like, the TNT title, even it doesn't make sense. And he might not be, again, he can go in the ring at times, not all the time. But this guy doesn't even he just has a ring to parade around to say, like, this is my, and the fact that he has money, like,
why wouldn't they put MJF against Adam Page before? Is it because CM Punk is of a certain age and they want to get that match in because maybe he's not going to be around for much longer?
I have speculated that, and CM Punk and AEW is a future episode of White Noise. I think that it was like the thing about Adam Cole. We have to pull the trigger on him as a title challenger at some point. We can't go too much later because he's just going to keep beating guys. And it's like, are we just going to have him keep beating guys like Hobbs and Daniel Garcia and then not give him a title shot, because it'll kind of just be wasting him. And it will make Adam Page, because Adam Page will probably retain. I don't see CM Punk walking out of Double or Nothing as AEW World Champ. I certainly hope not.
Unless it's like clear that he's recreating that storyline. You're not wrong, but I think there's only.
But I think Hangman Page has to retain, so MJF can then take the title off of Hangman Page and finally win the AEW World title against someone like Hangman Page, who's the guy that they've also built up since the start of the company.
So, we're so far from Ricky Starks, but do they? I mean, do you think?
No, because it's all the same thing. Like, when do these guys that have kind of been there get their chance?
I guess
it's not even that they haven't, because Heyman Page is a guy was a guy much like Britt Baker. Like, him and Britt Baker, those were their ones from the start. They were going to make sure those two got to the top, and they are. And then they brought in people from WWE and more or less using like how WWE was using them, in terms of, like, we don't know what to do yet, but you can do what you want creatively, but, like, we still don't know if we're going to make you champ at the top of the card or this or that.
Right. And I think my thing is MJF's probably the best example, because his contract is going to be is up, and every and maybe he's feeding into it because he's going to try and make sure he wants people to be invested in it for when the decision time.
It creates buzz.
But if all of it is not, if he's shooting when he's talking about his feelings and the rumors about how he's feeling over there and what's going on. Now, does AEW pull the trigger on him being a champion before they lose him, or do they just say screw it, we're not going to worry about it, and then have him go AEW do the same thing? And because then the flip side is, what do you do with a Ricky Starks when a Ricky Starks is in that situation? Do you say, hey, let me not even bother with Ricky Starks going to the World Championship situation, because that's only going to make him look better for when he's eventually going to leave?
It'll be the thing, like when Christian left WWE to go to TNA. Like, I'm never going to be world champ. I can do this. I can get everything over. I can be great in the ring. I can make everyone else look good.
Right.
They'll never make me champ. I think Ricky Starks is kind of in that same boat almost. Like, I can make this person look good. I can get every feud I have can matter or be entertaining. And I have the skills to be the top guy, and I just don't know why I'm not. It's not like the guys ahead of him aren't like deserving of it, because they're going to Hangman Page is one of the best guys in AEW as well. But it's the unfortunate thing of having only one title at the top. I mean, the TNT title is supposed to be neck and neck according to Cody Rhodes before he, dipped and said, I didn't want to be a 15-time TNT champion.
But like, there's enough. I think the thing is. God, I hate that the Ricky Starks episode kind of turns into the TNT value, or not TNT, the AEW evaluation episode.
The guy who's worthy of an AEW title at this point, whether
he's a guy who's extremely talented as a performer as well as a talker. Talented enough that he's on Rampage, like we said earlier. He's on Rampage as a talking head very often. If you don't allow him to get to those next levels, what's the percentage of him wanting to leave? Because again, that's why I bring up the lifer stuff, because at some point you gotta and the one thing that I keep thinking about is with all the talk about the booking of AEW, they have 4 pay-per-views, and they seem to be structuring a lot of their larger storylines towards those pay-per-views. In between that time, you've got time to where somebody could win and lose a title. Why couldn't Ricky Starks have been in that mix instead of Sammy losing to Scorpio to win it, to lose it again to Sammy again? Why couldn't you have put Ricky in there, and because you sow the seed, maybe Ricky's a champion for a month or whatever, have him drop it and then go into your storyline for the pay-per-view, and then months later you do the blah blah blah, whatever, what happened to my title run, and then put Ricky back in the mix. Like, what it can't be that difficult if you're only booking for shit to go into the major shit to go towards these pay-per-views. It feels like there's more time to be doing some of these other smaller things to help elevate these people that they don't do, because they still run with the same people a fraction of the time with these titles. Or am I tripping?
No, you're right. That's why I was saying, like, look at the TNT title as a start, and if you look at, even though it was 4 guys, one guy had multiple title reigns, but the first 4 guys to hold that title Brody Lee really didn't have it, but they had kind of these open challenges. The Brody Lee thing was just kind of in the middle of this Cody Lee feud. Right. It was about what was going on in that feud with Darby Allin. Miro had these open challenges. Again, TNT, Dynamite next week, they defend the title, which is what's supposed to be. The TV title is supposed to be defended because the world champion didn't wrestle every week back in the day.
Right.
So they needed a champion. They needed a workhorse champion to have people tune into the TV to see. And Ricky Starks has kind of been that workhorse on Rampage, because it's a show that's kind of like, you can skip it this week because not much really happens.
Right.
It's Sean Spears versus Bear Boulder. Like, I'm sorry, but no.
Or Adam Cole versus Evil Luna.
No, that's supposed to further Adam Cole. Like, what's Adam Cole? Adam Cole's supposed to be the height of the show. Like, it's Adam Cole's wrestling tonight. Like, that's the draw of that. But like, Ricky Starks in the main event against Jay Lethal against Swerve. Him and Jungle Boy could have been the main event last night. No offense to Scorpio Sky and
no, right? No.
But the one time they put Sammy, Darby Allin, and Andrade in that great triple threat at the start of that episode of Rampage because they wanted to take the rating from SmackDown. Like, tune in right away because this match is opening the show, and the three of them were already in the ring. They had skipped the entrances, and
they were ready.
They were because they're that paranoid. It's like because we don't give these guys enough time. Well, if you don't overbook the entire fucking show like you do every single week, which is the biggest issue, and I think the reason, like you said, like you couldn't have someone else be in the title mix besides Sammy and Scorpio the last few weeks, and that's why I think people were right to shit on these back and forth title changes. And I said, well, that's why I made the great argument. Like at the end of the day, they treat it like it's a sport. On any given week, any given Sunday, anyone can win.
Facts.
Sammy Guevara won that night. Scorpio Sky won the next night.
Facts.
Sammy Guevara won the next night because you know what? I know how to beat this guy now. I'm going to use some trickery and all that. The next time in the ladder match, Scorpio Sky's like, you know what? I know how this guy's going to do. I've seen how he did it before. Like, I just got to outlast him in this. And then they bring out the barbed wire ladder, which was just supposed to be like, oh, whoa, we shouldn't see this on. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Who was the one tasked to put the barbed wire on the ladder and storyline?
Moxley. He's like, I got y'all. Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, you want this? I got a couple of these out back. Don't worry about it. I got
Renee!
It's
Where's
actually
the barbed wire ladder?
It's funny mentioning that. Shouts out to the Black Announce table. These barbed wire bats on the hoodie. This is a nice hoodie. It's a nice champion. Sponsor me for life.
I mean, this is one of the few BRP things that isn't
champion. I don't have. That's one of the few I don't have.
But no, I think now at this point, if they're going to keep circling Sammy and Scorpio, this title is going to get very diminished at this point.
Look at this picture. Sammy's on there 3 times. Yeah, there's one black guy's on there twice, but it's the only other guy color that they're putting up for that title. Look at this. Look at this.
I made these images today because I'm like, look at it. And I just read you a list of names, and all those guys haven't been TNT champion. Andrade, Orange Cassidy, Penta, Phoenix,
Ricky Starks,
Powerhouse Hobbs, and at the end of the day, Ricky Starks, who out of all of them, maybe besides MJF, is the one who's most deserving. I mean, you and I would probably think Danielson as well, but he should be world champ. But he's at the veteran stage. Like, I'm going to show up. He just wants to wrestle. He really just wants to wrestle is what it is. He doesn't like title or not. I just want to stomp some motherfuckers in the face and just like.
Problem is one of these days I'm gonna take over White Noise. Maybe
you have the Black Wrestling Podcast Club.
Yeah, but one of these days I'm gonna take over White Noise, and it's gonna be Black Noise, but I'll be talking about Bryan Danielson. We'll do it at some point because he really is the best wrestler on their television. But anytime I mention it and I mention he needs to be champion, people are like, yo, Cal, shut up.
That's when
he just wants to go to Japan.
Day 385 of Ricky Starks' TNT title run, and Bryan Danielson's like, you know what, Ricky Starks?
Give me that.
I'm going to be the biggest test you've ever had in your entire life. Not this title run, not in your 10 years of wrestling, in your life. And he just like elbow strikes him, he stomps him, he kicks. And Ricky Starks, again, how he sells like being concussed pretty well, because that match of him and Swerve, he's like, my head is ringing. Like
pounded.
And Ricky Starks says like, oh, like punch drunk and like at the end of the day, like he just moves over a little bit to get the momentum. Like they have each other pinned at the same time. Like he just bounces and like wins by that much, like because he's that much smarter. He's that much on that night. He was that much better than you, Bryan Danielson. Like, and he can say it on the mic. Like, Bryan, you took Ricky Starks to the limit. Like he can do the whole like Ric Flair or The Rock thing, but at the end of the day, I'm still Ricky Starks. Like
facts.
And he can do it with all these guys. Like I'm saying, like it's kind of a shame because can you not see Ricky Starks talking to GQ outside of the ring? Can you not see Ricky Starks being GQ on like Sports Center or
fucking Colbert show? Put Ricky Starks on Fallon.
Yeah,
they'd probably
thinking to some Drake.
What show? What late night would he be on?
Oh, with Warner Media. He could be on an HBO Max show. He could guest like Ricky Starks is the guest star on.
No, yeah, he might be on.
Euphoria.
Ricky Starks. I get
imagine Ricky Starks on the Euphoria after show that you and I and OG Johnny 5 are gonna host.
Well, all right, so HBO Warner Media. So what we're gonna do, it just so happens that 3 people who like pro wrestling and talk about it on the internet. I don't even know.
I still have to finish the last 2 episodes of Euphoria from this season.
You have HBO Max though, right?
It's the best streaming service there is.
Winning
Time. I bet Ricky Starks watched Winning Time. Come on, you mean to tell me that Ricky Starks didn't watch the history of the Showtime Lakers? Come on.
HBO, me, Drip, and OG Johnny 5. We for season 3 of Euphoria. We're down to wait whenever that comes out. As long as we're cool, give us a show, or we could talk about Euphoria to the max.
I just want to talk to Sydney Sweeney. That's all I want to do.
Well, I would have two like must-have booking requests. One would be the fucking absolute.
That's right. I'm a neighborhood legend.
Ricky Starks, and 2 would be Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
We would have to have, just only because Ricky Starks is actually a fan, and I'd have to get the tweets, but it's like there's documented on the timeline proof. And Liv Morgan has taken, like, she's used like the eye makeup. She's made I don't know. But like at some point, Warner Media, we're gonna have to figure this out.
You mean Ricky Starks can't play like the owner of a club that Cassie or Maddie's gonna work at?
He'd have to either be like the cocky, like talk, like, because if you have Ricky Starks in Euphoria, he has to have a couple of lines.
Yeah,
and he has to be cocky and talking shit.
I'd say like maybe Maddie becomes a stripper and like he's the owner of the nightclub.
Facts. Or he's like Euphoria season 4. They're out of high school. He's like somebody's like Miami.
I already had said
killer.
That the college season of Euphoria, Leonardo DiCaprio definitely plays a professor that sleeps with Cassie.
We got it.
Am I wrong?
At that point, Leonardo DiCaprio is going to look like he's 80 years old. We got to get out of here, Trip. My pizza people should be hitting the door soon.
Okay,
so we really got to get out of here.
But hey, I mean, sometimes they listen. The phones are my phone is always tapped. Whether it's
see. No, it'll be on the YouTube. We'll see.
But Ricky Starks, come on, BRP. Let's talk to Ricky Starks. Let's make it happen. I mean,
AEW, holla at us.
But I'm just saying, out of all the guys in AEW, OG Johnny 5 minutes late, like, let it play out. We can't keep letting this play out.
Not with Ricky Starks.
Make this man an official AEW champion.
Well, again, we need it soon, because if we don't get it, then that man will be gone, and then what?
Or maybe his neck injury will get worse, and he'll be a what if, like Penny Hardaway.
Don't do that, Trip.
Knock on wood.
Do not do that, Trip. All right. Is that it? Do we have anything else we gotta say about Ricky Starks?
That was it.
Damn, this was it's a fun and efficient time, Drip. Where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Davis, aka Drip, Instagram Davis DC, Banks vs. Davis on YouTube, but most importantly, Black Wrestling every single Thursday on YouTube. The Twitter is where I make the highlight videos and some other videos. The AJ Gray one just dropped, and that you can buy that, I guess, still somewhat. I don't know what the time window on that was. That math.
Yeah, I don't know. By the time people will see this, they should still be available. But I would say get them while you can. I'd have to hit up math and see. I don't know what the date is, but again, when you see this video, they'll be available. The link will be in the description. Cop it, because if you don't cop it, you're gonna miss it, and that's not my fault. Shouts out to AJ Gray, blood of my blood. Shout peace to RIP to DMX. Yeah. YouTube.com/Black Wrestling, Patreon.com/Black Wrestling. Again, if you see this, pay the 1, pay the 10. You're getting this before other people again. Sometimes people don't get it for a while. I'm still trying to figure out the schedule. We'll figure out at some point. I'm Cal, at Cal on Twitter, at CalDub on Instagram. If you're seeing this, at me. Maybe I'll follow you. I apologize if I don't. I may not know who the hell you are. I'm not always going to give out that IG though, so it's like once in like a couple of month time offering. Anyway,
now does it get your fucking hands when someone tries to follow him on IG?
Every Thursday on YouTube.com/Black Wrestling, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live, some form of the 4 of us plus the wrestling chick Mimi. Black Wrestling. Shouts to Glasses. Piece of Glasses. It's another episode. This is episode 4 of White Noise.
Episode 4. And we might do a Wise Man number 3 said I should talk some non-wrestling stuff on White Noise. So maybe the next episode or 2 might be a non-wrestling edition of White Noise. Maybe we can talk to directors. Top Gun Maverick's coming out.
Drip. Atlanta.
Crew's back.
Atlanta ends next week. So
well, that's for Have Y'all Seen. Let's not forget.
Well, look at that teaser. All right, we're going to get the hell out of here. White Noise. Salutes to y'all. We'll catch y'all next time.
Shout out to the droplets.
Salute to the droplets. Peace to Keeks. Peace out.